Hello, and welcome back to Let's Talk Chicago Bears. Even though nobody wants to, I don't really even want to, but I have to do it because it's my show and it's the day after a game. No victory song for this week. So as we know, the 11 and now 3 beat the now 4 and 10 Chicago Bears 12-30. And I'm going to read you a few stats, not a lot, but a few just to point out how shocked I was that the Bears, except for two categories, were pretty much right the same as Minnesota. For the score to be 12-30, of course, we had a turnover. That didn't help. I think they scored on that one. But still. So let's look at this. So the Bears had 284 total yards. Minnesota 329. Not much different there. Passing 171 for the Chicago Bears, 215 for Minnesota. Pretty close. This one really blew me away. The Bears rushed for 113 yards to 114 yards in Minnesota. I thought the way they were running up and down the Bears that it looked worse than it was. It really did. So that's a good thing. Yards per play right there. Yards per play, the Bears were 4.5, Minnesota 4.6. Both teams had 2 sacks. Both teams had a turnover each. The Bears got an interception. And Minnesota got a forced fumble on Cabe. So very, very close. The two biggest difference of the offenses was third down conversion. Horrible. The Bears were 1 for 12. You can't win an NF game if you're 1 for 12 on third down conversions. Minnesota was 7 for 14, which is a little bit more doable. And then the penalties. The Bears had 9 penalties, and I say 5 or less to be in the game, and every penalty just killed them. Both sides of the ball were terrible for penalties last night. And, that's the thing. You read some of these stats, and the Bears are in it, so you're like, well, how come we're so close, and yet we lose the game by how many points? So Cade was 18 for 31 for 191 yards, 1 touchdown. Swift ran for 79 yards and Moore ran for 24. They were using Moore right away as a running back. And quite honestly, I know Swift got 79 yards, but the yards, and I'm glad he had them, but when we really needed him to get those 1 and 2 yards, he can't do it. That's not the kind of a back he is. He is a finesse kind of guy. He's not a power back. I've been saying it since day one. We've got to have a power back. Obviously we're going to keep Swift because we signed him, but they got to go in this draft and get the power back who can get on those 4th downs and ones, get the 1 frickin' yard. Homer only had 7 yards. I don't understand why they're not using Homer more. See what the guy's got. Maybe he could have gotten those 2 first downs on those 4th downs because he's a bigger back than Swift. I'm really unhappy about it. Passing, Allen led with 82 yards passing with 1 touchdown. Moore had 46 and Rome had 39. So nothing to scream home about, that's for sure. But there were some missed opportunities last night. So the stats are very close, as I said, except for that third down and the penalties. And the offense, and I didn't agree with the offensive play calling. I think you need to we gotta pass. You've got to pass, otherwise you're never going to win a game. You've got to have a solid run game which opens up your passing game. But you need quicker plays with Cabe right now. The way the offensive line, we had an offensive lineman who didn't even play. And then we have guys out of position and guys that are not that good. So you've got to work around it, and they're not doing it. Our line is that bad, then I would not play Cabe the rest of the season. If it's that bad that you can't get this poor kid to be able to, he was only sacked twice, but he was chased a lot, and he just didn't have opportunities. But there were some other things. Okay, so there was missed tackles by the defense last night, and when the wide receivers did get open, Cabe, they would drop the ball. There was a couple drops again last night, and then on those 2 fourth down conversions, we couldn't get either one. There was one right at the beginning of the first game where we gave Minnesota, we turned it over on the Minnesota 40-yard line. They went down and got a field goal. The defense did hold them to that, but we couldn't get one damn yard on 4th and 1, and that was Swift. And then later in the game, it was 4th and 2. They gave it to Swift again. Nothing. We turned it over on downs. So clearly, people, what I've been saying since the beginning of the year, he is not the leading running back on this team. He's not a power back. He's more of a finesse, all-purpose player where, when he gets out in open field, he's going to take off, but he needs that big hole to do so, and he can catch stuff, which is really good. But he's not the power back. So if we had a power back, or if we still had Herbert would have gotten those 2 first downs, just saying, okay? But of course, and then the Bears, this just pissed me off. So then the Bears get an interception in the second quarter. The defense gives them an interception. The offense comes out, does nothing. I think they were 3 and out. Then Minnesota, we go to punt the ball. They run into our kicker. We get the first down back again because we got a 15-yard penalty. Running into the kicker, and it gave us 5 yards. We only needed 4. Got a first down. The O comes back out. They get a penalty. It pushes them back. Could not, and this was the second, 4th and 2, could not convert. Boom, Minnesota gets the ball back again. The offense just terrible. And they had a penalty that pushed them back, and then boom. See what I mean about them? Then in the second quarter, the Bears, I just said that one. So the Bears had first down on a pass, but a penalty brought it down. They got the first down. The penalty brought it down. Now it was 3rd and 15. They don't get the first down. They're very close. So they try for the second conversion, 4th and 2. They turn it over on downs. Penalty caused that. Then the defense in the second quarter, they had stopped Minnesota, and it was going to be a punt. They get a penalty, first down, and Minnesota goes down and scores another field goal. Yeah, now it's 0-13. I'm just like, what? Okay, so again, then in the third quarter, the offense, and I believe on this penalty, I blame this on Williams because I was really watching. The offensive line, there was a few times the offensive line did hold up yesterday, not many, but they did. And on this particular one in the third quarter, this holding penalty, he wouldn't release the ball. He held on to the ball too long, which in turn caused the penalty for holding. And it was like, so then, he can't, we get the penalty, then it's back. Next play, Rome has a wide open, Allen misses punt. The penalties were killing them yesterday. Then the big one. Then we score a touchdown in the third quarter. It gets called back due to, ready for it, penalty on Kramer, 68, who once again did not declare himself eligible. That should be the first freaking thing he does when he comes in. He's got one job, to go in there and help block when we're down on the goal line and to make yourself eligible. He don't do it. They take the 6 points off the board. And then the Bears, so then they got that penalty. They go back. They get another penalty. They had 2 penalties down on the goal line, and they only got 3 points. 2 penalties, and you had a touchdown. It would have been 7-13. That could have changed the game. Maybe not, but I'm saying when you're closer, you're down by less than a touchdown, because it would have been 10-13. I said 7-13, but 10-13. You were 3 points away. Whole different game. But no, 2 penalties, and one, which was inexcusable, Kramer, that takes a touchdown off the board. Terrible. Then in the third quarter, the defense. They had Minnesota on 3rd and long. They get a penalty. They give them a first down. They go down and score a touchdown. It is now 3-20. Fourth quarter, the offense gets another penalty on a drive when they started moving the ball. They actually ended up getting 3 points out of that drive, but it pushed them back, and it forced them to do a field goal. Fourth quarter, again, the defense gets another penalty by 29 this time, which gives he got the penalty number 29, Stevenson, in the end zone. It puts Detroit, and we had stopped that on 3rd and 9. It would have been a field goal only. But what does he do? He gets a pass interference, balls on the 1-yard line, touchdown, 6:27. See what the penalties did to those Bears yesterday, and they're not good enough for that. There's no excuse. Penalties is bad discipline, and that starts at the top. Head coach, OC, DC. You got to pound these guys. You can't have these penalties. We were going the wrong way. And what I also noticed yesterday is Cabe is holding onto the ball too long. And I understand why, because he still doesn't have that complete confidence. They've pounded it into his head. I have no doubt, do not throw interceptions, because he's only thrown 5. And for a rookie, that's pretty damn incredible. And for this team, that's pretty damn incredible. So right on, but I think they've almost made it where he's afraid to throw it. And then the receivers are open, and then when he goes to release it, they're not. That happened yesterday, and then the wide receivers, again, are missing passes. You're not helping your rookie out if you can't catch the damn ball. Allen, we pay you a lot of money, and you dropped the ball a couple times last night. Inexcusable. But, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, are the wide receivers not open like I think they are, or is he just too afraid to throw that ball? I don't know. And this kid is talented. There's no doubt about it. But, look at he looked like at the end of the game. I'm to the point where I know he should play because he needs to get the experience, but we can't have him fucked up in the head where he's afraid the line's going to collapse on him all the time. He doesn't seem like that to me, but he changed the plays. I don't know if I mentioned that, but there was a time in the game, in the first quarter, where Cabe changed the play twice, and both times in this particular series, he changed the ball. He changed the play twice, and they both were running plays, and we couldn't get a first down either way. So when he changed the plays, they had called a passing play, obviously, and he didn't like the look. So he did it to a run, nothing. He did it again a play or two later, nothing. So are the Bears allowing him to change the plays too much? Is he making the right decisions when he's changing these plays? I mean, it's quite remarkable that you have a rookie in there who's changing plays. It really is. It says a lot about his football knowledge, and we're happy about that. But right now, it doesn't seem to be working well, because I noticed, like I said, twice last night, and there was probably more. So it's like you're changing the plays. You don't like the passing play they sent in. But maybe you should just do it and see what develops. You know what I mean? And I just don't know what's going on in this head. If he's afraid, doesn't have a confidence in himself or his wide receivers, but why is he not releasing the ball? I think that's a problem. I think one of the biggest problems is he's not releasing the ball fast enough, and he's not learning how to throw the ball out of bounds and avoid those sacks. Troy Aikman said that last night. He said, sacks are not always on the offensive line. They're also on the quarterback. And he said, and if you don't want to keep getting sacked, then do something about it. Very, very eye-opening, right? Do something about it. And looking at these, I know I don't like the offensive play calling, but it looks like it's still Shane Waldron's plays to the most part. You can't start all over when there's 5 games left or whatever it was. You just can't, because you can't do that to an offense, especially a rookie. But you think they could simplify or do some other things. But then again, when you don't have a running back who can get 1 fucking yard on a 4th down, you've got a problem. So the play calling, just don't like it. I think they got to start doing stuff more to Cabe's strengths, and I don't see him doing it. I'd like to see him roll him out a little bit more and let him throw, because he does seem to be very good at that, but they're not doing it. They're not doing it, and I don't know why. So this means that, in the off season, we have got a lot of work to do. So we'll see what happens. Now, for the defense. Oh, and I will say one thing about the offense. They gave up 2 sacks, or the offensive line. There were times that they didn't look bad, but this is a major blitzing team. So it was really quite a miracle that we only had 2 sacks. So hats off to the offensive line for that. I don't give them much props, but I will for that last night. Now the defense. I can't figure out what's going on with these guys, because let's face it, they were playing lights out in the beginning of the year until the Washington game, and everything changed. There was a point last night that the defense rushed, I think it was the 4th quarter, rushed 5 guys to try to get Darnold, and they couldn't get to him. 5 guys rushed him. He got the pass off. It was like a 15 to a 20-yard pass. Now, I say to myself, do Minnesota have that great of an offensive line? Lucky them. Or is our defensive line not that good? I don't know. I'm going with a little bit of both. I do know that they have a very good offensive line, much better than us. Look what a good offensive line does. You got an average quarterback in Darnold, and look what he's doing. So what does that say? If we had an average line, the world would be, Cabe would be in heaven. But we don't. We have an abominable offensive line. So, I don't know, but we rushed 5 guys, and they couldn't even knock the ball down, or sack them. Come on. So, and I'm not really understanding. I can't figure out on the defense either if it's the play calls that the defensive coordinator is doing, but we seem, and it's been the last 3 games, that they're playing back too much, these guys in the backfield. I know Brisker's not in there, and I'm sure that has an awful lot to do with it. And, people do not realize how good that kid was playing. From last year to this year, he was playing the best on the defense, the best. He was playing lights out. And we haven't had him in 6 games, something like that, 7 games, maybe 8. And it showed. And maybe that's why they're playing off, but I don't like it. I think we're giving up too many yards in the pass, and I'm not talking behind the guys, I'm talking in front. So, of course, a team's going to, if they're going to play off, the Minnesota's like, Jesus, they're giving us 15 to 20 yards. Hell, we'll take them. Wouldn't you? So, I'm not sure. So, right now, we do know all the coaches have got to go. All the coaches have got to go. I mean, we just do. And this is something that I read today, and this is pretty true. The Chicago Bears are on an 8-game losing streak. They're now the national laughing stock after another flat performance in prime time. You see what I've been saying it. Everybody's laughing at us. We've become the joke of the league since that Hail Mary, and it's gotten worse and worse and worse. In 3 of their last 4 national games, the Bears have failed to score at least 20 points on offense. In the 4 national games, couldn't score 20 or more points, and they lost all 4 of them. Those games were Sunday night matchup against Houston, week 2, a late game against the Washington Commanders, that we know what happened to there, in week 8, the Thanksgiving embarrassment against Detroit, and this Monday night game against Minnesota, this debacle against Minnesota. And it's true. I mean, when I saw that we're playing, I'm like, oh God, here we go. And to make things worse, we're playing on the 26th of December, the day after Christmas, on the Thursday night game. And who are they playing? They're either playing Detroit or the Seahawks. I'm not sure because we have Detroit, Seahawks, and Green Bay last. And Green Bay is our last game. So I don't know. It's going to be another one. But it's true. We've embarrassed ourselves on national TV one too many times for me, and it sucks. And this is what Kelsey said last night. Kelsey, who urged Chicago to show, he said, why don't you show the NFL that you belong in this league? Chicago has proved that they do not belong in the NFL. And he is right. They don't. I've been saying that for weeks and weeks. I heard somebody say last week, Pop Warner coaches could coach better than the Bears coaching staff has this year. I've been saying that too. I heard people really ripping on Swift now. Been saying that since the beginning of the season. So, you know what? This 66-year-old lady, you know what? I know a thing or two. Well, I have watched them for 49 years if you watched the last show. And, of course, I've said it a million times. I mean, I am proud of that. I'm proud of it yet, but I'm a little embarrassed by it. So now you know where all the white hair came from. But this is what we have for the next 3 weeks. It's not going to be good. We're probably not going to win another game, although at this point, all I would love more than anything is to beat Green Bay in Green Bay on that last game because they're going to be fighting for the playoffs. They're fighting for them. They're in the wild card now. And wouldn't that be great to knock them out? That would be our season, people. That would be like, right on, okay? And that, boy, think about that. If we could beat Green Bay and then roll into 2025, I think things could be looking up. So we know what has to be done. We need a new head coach. I want one that's got head coach experience. And more, I think it should be an offensive one, but I don't know. I like Mike Gravel, but he's defense. But if he knew somebody who is really, really good offensive coordinator, he could go get him because we need somebody who's going to mentor Cabe and really, really help this kid out. We need in the draft, so we need head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. We need it all. The draft, well, we need to go back. We need to get a power running back. And I've said it before. I've heard the draft this year, college draft, has really got a lot of running backs. So you could probably get them in later rounds because the first couple rounds have to go to the offensive line and the defensive line. And then we have to get a running back. And Swift then can be number 2. He could be your finesse, and then you got a guy who's going to pound away and get you runs, get you yards. Like Montgomery, remember him, David Montgomery? When he was in Chicago a few years ago, he can, see, Detroit's got him. They've got Montgomery for the power runs, and down by the goal line, and they got Gibbs for the finesse who gets through the holes and takes the fuck off. That's what the Bears need. They've got one part of it in Swift. They need to go to the draft and get a real good power running back. Then we need to work on the offensive line, the defensive line. You're going to have to work in the backfield, especially if Brisker doesn't come back. So we got a lot of work to do. But there's 3 more games. Again, Detroit. I think it's Detroit they play the Thursday after Christmas. Then the Seahawks. Yes, that's what it is. The Detroit Seahawks, both at home. And then Green Bay is the last game. January 7th, something like that, 8th. I'm not real sure. But, yeah. So I'm going for the only thing that's going to save this season for me is beating Green Bay. So, I mean, there's not a lot to say. I don't even know if anybody's going to watch me, but I do want to say I appreciate the people who do still watch my show, follow me. It means a lot. I know it's a rough season. I've got a buddy who does a podcast, Dan. My heart is with you, my friend. And happy early birthday. His birthday's on the 25th. Doesn't that suck? Who would want a birthday on Christmas? Even Christmas Eve. But So anyways, Dan, he does a podcast, and he's to the point where he doesn't even want to do them anymore. And you know what? I totally can understand that. See, doing a YouTube, I just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and then I set it out there. Podcast, you got people, you're on there for an hour to an hour and a half, you're taking questions. Not my bag. So I can see where he's getting burnt out, but it is hard because you're saying the same stuff every week in and week out, and it's just year has been a shit show. So, but thank you for still watching. I don't think I made you laugh too much today, but hey, this face will always cheer you up. Right? So I wanted to let you know, first of all, again, thank you for all the viewers, subscribers. You know what? And I have some regulars who write me great messages, and I just really, really, really appreciate it. I think Greg from Shigo is still watching. I hope he is. Maybe he's given up too. I don't know. But I do appreciate it, so thank you very much. As always, I want you to all have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas. I hope all your dreams come true. I hope Santa brings everybody everything they want. I hope you have a wonderful 2025. I will talk to you in 2025, but I wanted to say it right now. Have a happy, safe, and fun-filled Christmas for the next holiday for the next 2 weeks. Just have fun, 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 because we all need it. Excuse me, especially this year. It's been a rough one. People are on high alert. There's a lot of tension. You had that school shooting yesterday. I mean, everybody is just... So, you know what? Be kind, love one another, help each other out. As I've said before, people are so nice in the month of December. They give to charities. They help people out. They're just generous. You know what? Why can't we do it 12 months out of the year? I try to. My grandson and I, this was so nice today. We walk up through my neighborhood, and we always look for Christmas lights. I watch them on Tuesdays at my house. I watch my one grandson. I have two, but I watch the 2.5 here. And we were walking today, and this woman came out, and I said, oh, hi. And she goes, I was just seeing what the dog's barking at. And I go, my grandson likes to walk around the neighborhood and look at, even though most of the decorations, we call them sleeping, because the big puffy guys. So she goes, well, I'll wake mine up. So she went in her house. She had a bunch of them, the blow-up guys, and she plugged them in for my grandson, and it just made his day. And I was like, thank you so much. Brought her dog out to meet my grandson. She goes, why not make people happy, especially kids? And I'm like, from your mouth to God's ear, So there are good people, and that's just a small little thing, but I got to tell you, he was smiling from ear to ear, and you know what? So was I. I appreciated it. That's kindness, going out of your way to make somebody happy. So have a wonderful holiday. I will not be coming back. And it's only because there's really no need. Be different if the Bears were winning and these games counted, but we all know they're not and they don't. And so I'm going to skip this Friday's show for the... Who are we playing? Oh my God, I don't know who we're playing Sunday. I don't know. Anyways, maybe we have 4. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I won't be... See, I've been with my grandson all day. I'm exhausted. I am exhausted. So I won't be here Friday, and I'm not going to do a show next Monday after Sunday's game. I'm not doing it. I will not be back until January 4th, which is January 3rd, Friday the 3rd. I'll be back on the air, and I'll be previewing that game. Because I'm trying to think, this is really going to bug me now because I'm not, you know what? I got to look and see. My phone isn't around here. Anyways, I'm sorry. So again, I will not be, today's my last day until after the holiday, and I'll be back on January 3rd. I know you're all going to miss me. I know it. But I'm just giving myself a Christmas present, taking a little time off, not really thinking about it, just watching football and enjoying it. It's going to be on. There's two games on Christmas Day on Wednesday. They're on Netflix. The National Football League has never played on a Wednesday. So there's two games on Wednesday. The Bears game's Thursday night, and then they have games on Saturday and Sunday. So fun. I love when football is on almost every day. It's awesome. So check those games out on Christmas, because I said there's two of them on Netflix, though, so you got to have that. But, we always put the games on, but the sound's off, and because you have to have Christmas music, at least in our house. So, again, have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas. I really want everybody to have joy in their life, and let's hope that 2025 is a good year for you all, me, and most importantly, the Chicago Bears. And I really need a good year, because this was a very, very bad year for me. 2024, I was sick half of the year, pretty much. And there was 2.5 months where I was very, very ill, and we were just not sure what was going to happen. But I did come out on the other side. Hallelujah. So I'm looking forward to 2025. Got to be better. And Bears, it's going to be better, Bears fans. Just stick together, because we are the best fans there are. Right? Even though they don't deserve it, but we are. Okay. On that note, I'm going to shut up. I'm going to wish you again a wonderful holiday. I really love you all. I love my Chicago Bears. I hope they win next Sunday. They won't. But again, what are you going to do? Happy holidays. And happy holidays from Vegas, baby. See you on January 3rd.